welcome to the last concluding show of this season for the Freeman Perspective. I gotta let you guys know that I find every one of these hours very important. This is something that I feel like I shouldn't waste time. Every hour that I spend out here is a chance for me to touch a lot of people and to make some change in the planet that we live on. And certainly my show has never been designed in the hopes of telling you what is or how you should live your life. More, I designed this show to bring about new questions, to bring about some ideas that might not have occurred to you and some thoughts on life on planet Earth that aren't really hitting the mainstream. It's never been my intention to be a news source, really, or a, do it now and this is the way it should be done. Certainly, I don't feel that people on planet Earth should spend all of their time trying to pick out which viper is the worst viper in a den of vipers. Seems like a lot of effort to have a working system of government. Certainly much credit must be given to Alex Jones for all of the viper hunting he has done. I think a lot of the things that I talk about wouldn't be as well known if he didn't bring all of these things to the forefront. But we can't really spend our whole lives tracking down the vipers. Is that what life is really for? And it was brought to me the question of fear. And I think a lot about what really causes fear and why it's there and the difference between love and fear. And I realized that, do any of you actually go to work because of love? Or do we go to work because of fear? Do we go to our job because we fear that we're going to not have a home, not have any food? Do we continue to serve this evil empire because we're too frightful to step away from it? The unknown certainly is frightening. And certainly as I started to list the different things that frightened me, the unknown was the one key factor. I had my van break down in a strange town. I think I was in Pennsylvania. And I really didn't know how I was going to continue on or, where I would sleep that night. And that brought a lot of fear. And really, though, once I stepped into the moment, once everything started to focus and come into view and I started running into people, I realized that once you're in the moment, you're out of the fear. Because the fear comes with the thought. Fear comes prior to the event. Certainly coming and sitting in this chair causes me a bit of fright each night that I come out here. Yeah, I'm not out here for any egotistical means. You can believe me on that. It does frighten the hell out of me sometimes to come out here and speak to you guys and speak to this camera and try and expand our consciousness a little bit, expand our world just a bit. But this is the last installment for this season of the Freeman Perspective, and I really never wanted to be just a talking head. There's a little girl out there that calls me the talking guy. I like that, but I never really wanted to be that. I didn't want to be sitting here as I am now, just speaking to you. I was hoping to create some visual art and different things that would entertain you and enlighten you. So I am taking the next season off so that I can devote myself to doing some more editing work, and I want to travel around a little bit and get some more footage to share with you and some more interesting ideas. So I'm pretty excited about all that. But I'm a little disappointed. It's a little sad to know that this is the last hour that I'll be speaking to you for a little while. Now, certainly, I'm not done working, and I'm not going to stop the show. I love this, and I want to keep doing it, so I'm not going away. Don't fear not. I'm not going anywhere. And if you want to get caught up, if you have any idea or you want to see some of the prior shows, we've definitely had some very interesting guests this season. And even throughout the whole experience of the Freeman perspective, we have had some very, very interesting guests. And they are all listed and up on Google Video. You can get to them by going to freemantv.com. And I have all the shows on there. Somewhere around 35 hours, I think, are up there for you to watch. And this season was definitely an intriguing one. We had Georgios Tsoukalos, head of the Ancient Astronauts Research Center, as we began to question the origins of civilization on planet Earth. Now, this is really a key question for me. I think that if you don't understand where the pyramids came from or why they're there, then you'll never understand why civilization exists in the first place. So this is really the question that drives me. How did this all occur? Where did it come from? And why has civilization always been so inhuman, alien? And Georgios Tsoukalos provided us with a lot of very interesting answers, although I tend to step off a slightly bigger ledge than he does. And then we followed that up with Isaac Bonowitz, and he was discussing with us all the different variation in magic and its electromagnetic properties, and we even got a little clue into what the HARP technology may be, using ideas as magic as a foundation for understanding the use of electromagnetic frequencies. A lot of us that are into these understandings of electromagnetic frequencies feel that the weather is being manipulated and that a lot of the things that we're seeing are due to this tweaking of the ionosphere using ionospheric heaters like the HARP, which is the High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program. I thought that we would talk more about HARP and EM weaponry and scalar technology and all of this with Scott Stevens, but he surprised me and hit me up with the Handbook for a New Paradigm. And that for me was truly intriguing because that was the very book that led me to being on TV. Because I went and ended up meeting George Humphrey there at a lecture with George Green, who is the publisher of the Palladian or Plagiarin's works, Handbook for a New Paradigm. And I did not expect Scott Stevens to be talking about that, and that was a very interesting show. I really love having the ability to come out here and do these shows. I get to look on my bookshelves and pick out the authors that I would love to discuss things with and call them up and have them come on the show. That to me is just amazing. I have loved every minute of that. I highly recommend that more of you come down here and get a producer's ID and start a show like this. If you really have any interest in talking with these interesting people, it really is a great way to get it done. And it's not that hard. Yeah, we have some technical difficulties, right, guys? But you know, we're having a good time with it, and it's very interesting. I hear them all laughing in there. We had Rosalind Peterson talking about chemtrails. Now, she, of course, wanted to use the term persistent contrails because, well, chemtrails was too much of a conspiracy theory for her. You guys are all seeing these and noticing them, I know, because more and more people are talking to me about it. And this is something that, well, we better think a lot about why they're up there and the properties of the ingredients and what they could be used for. And certainly, once again, go to freemantv.com and check out the chemtrail episode that I have, plus Rosalind's interview. Very, very nefarious, these chemtrails. Then we followed that up with Barry Chomish. Now, he's usually an Israeli patriot discussing the fall of Israel, but I got him on here talking about the giants of Israel. And that was truly intriguing that these aliens were showing up in Israel at the time of the Oslo Accord, and that they were reported by numerous people. And then the idea that all these 39-year-old women were being abducted and having pregnancies due to these giants. Was a very interesting show as well. And just to kick it off the loop, we went ahead and had William Henry on, and he's got a positive illumination type story. And once again, we're dropping back to the Egyptians and the ancient civilizations and trying to decipher what we see there. And we got into harmonics and frequencies, and William Henry's show was one of my favorites. I really enjoyed discussing that with him. And then we concluded that all up with Dr. Michael Salla discussing all the different alien extraterrestrials dealing with planet Earth at this time. So lots of thoughts, lots of things going on, very intriguing information. And once again, not designed to tell you what is going on planet Earth, but to get you to ask some different questions as to why these things are occurring. When I hear people discussing things like the Republicans and the Democrats, the Russians and the Americans, I personally can't see life on planet Earth in those colors. I have studied this occultism enough to know that these people have a further agenda that's beyond political or economics, and that they are practicing this ritual magic. And as I looked deeper and deeper into ritual magic, all I could come up with was that it was a way to contact otherworldly beings, which I have called pan-dimensional beings, in order to divine information and knowledge out of these beings. And this has been going on for a long time, and most of the people that we consider the most intelligent people have been into this. Very intriguing stuff. We have a look at these types of thoughts, and then of course I've covered corporate logos and their occultic meanings, and we see this unified system of occultists that rule planet Earth at this time. We find that they are all of a particular bloodline, and all of the intriguing things that go along with the idea of a bloodline ruling planet Earth, and where does this divine right to rule come from? And everything constantly leads you back to the gods and back to the pyramids, and then we try to answer these questions again. Well, tonight I thought I'd take it a little easy. It is the last show, and I don't have really anything prepared except for my own thoughts and ideas on things. So in a little while, we're going to take some phone calls, and I want to talk with you guys some more about what you've thought about the show, or thoughts that have come up, or even if you're new to the show, this is your first time watching, and you happen to catch the very last show, the Freeman Perspective for this season, I'd like to talk with you as well. We certainly had a good time at Spider House last night and pulled the whole crowd into our little group, and everybody's interested in these thoughts, you know. The real question is, what do we do? What are we to do at this time? Here we stand at the threshold of a brand new world. It's obvious that things are not going to remain as they are. And are we going to go into this ultimate fascist state? Or are we going to enter a police state? Are we going to find a new dimension? Are extraterrestrials going to show themselves to us? There is going to be some major changes coming in the very near future. I guarantee that. And just scientifically alone, we're moving into new paradigms with trying to understand parallel universes and the multidimensionality of the universe that we exist in. So where do we go? What do we do? Now, personally, I feel that civilization itself is alien to human life. I think if you look at civilization, you find that there never really has been a good government. I don't know of one. Perhaps somebody can point one out to me, and maybe we could follow that. But really, I think this whole idea of an overlord is a bad idea, and I really think that humans have the ability to take care of themselves. So when I'm asked, what should we do? Where do we go from here? As we're standing here with these evil men at our backs, what do we do? And I of course, am somewhat of a gestaltist and take things into the wildest abstractions. And I'm suggesting walking away from it all. I don't think that like movies V for Vendetta have the proper answer to say to blow up something as a symbol to try and escape this. Certainly violence begets more violence, and we would just end up with more police state if we were to do something like that. So the real answer comes from within, and we realize that if we want to escape this seeming nefarious rulership that we have at this time, really you've got to find your own sovereignty. You've got to discover yourself. And we're not really given opportunity to do that. Creative play has been stomped upon by the ruling elite, and the idea of being able to play has been just nearly erased from our society. I don't even see children playing in the streets anymore, and I certainly don't see adults playing at all. This has become something that was thought bad, brought down, and it was definitely, the creative spirit is the ultimate power that humans have. That's what we do, we create. And so personally, I think that the escape comes from first realizing that you exist, that you are a sovereign being, that you chose to come to planet Earth at this time. I do believe in that, and that makes it a lot easier if you accept that you wanted to be here. Because it's kind of like riding a roller coaster and then wanting to jump off halfway through the ride. You know, you paid your ticket, enjoy the ride. So we can't take this all so serious. Everybody wants to make this a very serious thing, and really that just leads to a very serious society, and really that's not the life I want to lead. I don't want to live in a very serious society. I don't think that that is the human way. Personally, I would adopt more of a dolphin's morals and believe that playing is the true essence of life, and that the rest of this is all just the matrix keeping us in place. Because really, how many of you go to work and just sit there idly for, you know, whatever it might be that they give you an hour, just wasting your time? You know you're wasting your time, but you're getting paid, so it's all good. And especially, you know, menial jobs like being a cashier or, you know, file sorting, or God forbid, telemarketing. This sort of thing is just a waste of our time. Now, in the future, there are going to be those of us that are turning away from this system. And we are going to be trying to survive outside of the system. And that's not really an easy thing to do. Once you get out there, it is, though. And as I was speaking of the fear before, once you step into the whole thing, then this fear is eliminated, because you get caught in the flow, and there is a flow to life, a currency that supplants the currency of money. And you'll find that this currency we now call synchronicity will propel you forward into adventures and things that you never thought were possible, things that you had no idea you were going to do, and you're going to sit back and go, my God, I never thought I'd be doing this. And the more of us that are going to be slipping into this stream and following this current are going to be coming to more and more of you. And really, you're going to want to welcome us into your homes, because you'll see the light of our spirit and you'll want to share in that. I've seen this a lot, that people that are basically trapped in their matrix structure really enjoy having the free spirits come and share some of their light with them. And this is the gift that the free spirits give, and the gift that you give to them. And even the Bible suggests that, you know, bring the people that come to your door in and give them food, because you never know, they might be angels. But I'm watching now as the lines are forming, and I see the fundamental Christian world believing that we're heading to the end times, and that this is the end of the world, and that Jesus is going to return, and first we have the rise of the Antichrist and all of that. And I see a lot of people really buying into that, and I could see where they're coming from, certainly, because when I look into this stuff, certainly like rock and roll, I was astounded as I saw it from another perspective, seeing the satanic works in rock and roll. And I know that you would have to see what I'm talking about to really get the full effect of what I mean. But so I kind of feel that what is going on is that this satanic role is being perpetuated out to us so that we will turn to this belief system, because a savior system really does leave you in a place where you're just waiting for your Flash Gordon to come and rescue you. And this is very good for those in charge if we don't take any stand and we just sit back and wait to be raptured or wait for our great Lord to come and save us. Or even if it was something like Dune and we had extraterrestrials that had planted this mythos on the planet so that when they arrive they're worshipped as Lord and Savior. There's many things. I often say, well, the Incas were waiting on a savior as well, and they got Cortez. So that might just be a little warning for you savior worshipers. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. But to me it seems like a control mechanism, and I feel that a lot of people are just taking the interpretations and not even really understanding what it is that they're reading in the Bible, and that what we're looking at is interpretation. The reason I'm bringing this up is that we are in a place where lines are going to be formed. I don't mean to harp on just the Christians, because there are lines forming all over the place. Certainly the political extremists, the patriot movement is another frightening thought in my world, because they are adamant about fighting against this New World Order, and I feel that once again will lead you straight into what they want you to do. And the only thing that people aren't suggesting is creative play. And that really is what the human nature is based on, and what we all really want. We all love to create, we love to play, we love to work with art, and escape the mundane world. So that's my suggestion. And I know that it works, and I know once you step out there that you will be free, and that the more and more of us that do it. But of course they're going to attack those type of people, and we're going to be made out to be evil doers, terrorists, whatnot, so that you will be frightened of us, those that are branching out into a new paradigm. And I'm certain that the world is going to get very frightening here in the very near future, and especially in America. We can just see it formulating. We watch as they've got the weather modification, and they've got these new brain technologies that are mind programming and things that just are very evil. And of course, everyone asks me, well, where do we go from here? And that really is my response, is trust in your faith, your synchronicities, realize that the universe is alive, and then most importantly, recognize that you chose to come here at this time, because that one really settles down the victim mentality, and that's where we need to break out of, this victim mentality, this belief that we need an overlord to be safe. And when you realize that the powers in Iraq and the powers in America are working together to cause all the chaos and then bring order out of chaos, and you start to recognize that these national boundaries really don't exist at the top, and they're really there just for us to divide and conquer. I will continually state that in all of my travels, in the hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people that I have met, I don't run into bad humans. I'm sure they're out there. Usually, a victim mentality or some sort of struggle in life has brought them to be somewhat violent, but that's just not the norm. Most of us are good, loving, generous people. Most of the humans on planet Earth are absolutely that, no matter what country they're in. but TV will portray all the evilness of humanity, and certainly that's just not the case. From my perspective, I certainly have not run into evil humans much. Every now and again, but usually it's just frightening, you know. I mean, for them, that they're scared and they're trying to make themselves not scared. And that would go away with the more calm society. So, but all of the good people are hidden away. They're sitting back and running registers and putting things together and doing all the menial work that needs to be done. But does it really need to be done? I mean, really, what has civilization brought you? You know, it's got this idiot box here for you so that you could be well brainwashed. We've got video games so that you'll kill things easier. What has it really brought you? Certainly a gas stove. I mean, is that any jump into the future? I mean, the Romans had flushing toilets. Come on. How far really have we gone? What is technology doing to serve you? I don't see where any of this is really helping humanity at all. If anything, it's destroying everything. And you know, I'm not an I'm not a technophobe. I like technology, and I know that it's a human ability to craft such things, but they're in the wrong hands, and the concept of existence is wrong. The reasons that we be, the reasons we exist, our raison d'etre, is improper for a human species, and we can't see that because we don't recognize that civilization is not the creation of human endeavor. It really is an alien civilization supplanted onto human society. So, well, let's go to some calls. I'd like to hear some of your thoughts on these things, and my last opportunity to have you all come in and talk with me. So, except for out on the streets where we run into one another, and certainly contact me by email. I'm happy to take emails, and I always go home after the show and check my email, and I don't get enough. That's all I know. I don't get enough people writing me. I love to hear from people and think with you. So if you guys want to go ahead and get the phone number up there, if we can. Yeah. And once again, I want to tell you that Corey and Jeff are coming back on the air, and I'm pretty excited about that, and hopefully get to be a guest with them.
I can't put the phone number on the air because it'll screw everything up on the character generator.
Just hit the text edit.
I told you it doesn't, it's not gonna, it'll screw everything up. So
All right.
mention it on here.
All right.
Unless you want it screwed up.
Well, you can try it.
Not gonna work.
All right. Well, we're having some difficulties, of course. That's amateur TV for you. You know, this equipment gets used by everyone, and things get a little confusing on there. Well, so if you want to call in, the number is 477-2288, and I'll take some calls now. And I need somebody to come and turn my speaker on. So 477-2288. I really do think that it'll work, though. You don't think it'll? I mean, you know, how much worse could it get? Try it. Hit that text edit button. All right. Hello.
Hey, Freeman. It's good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. Where you been?
Here. I've been trapped in my house for the last week, that's for sure.
I've been working so much, man. I did 13 and a half hours today, which has been par for the course for weeks, and I came in feeling like crap, turned on the TV, and there was Freeman, and everything changed. So great.
Oh, nice. Well, thank you.
Good to see you, man. I'm glad to hear that Jeff and Roy are coming back. Excuse me.
Is that a little chemtrail sickness you got going on there?
Yeah, I've been out handling freight all day, and it's probably a combination of dust and chem and
I'm
weather.
finding that people have this all over the place, and maybe you guys at home as well know a few other people that have this this horrible cough that started right before this cold snap came, and a lot of people are feeling this upper respiratory infection, and it doesn't seem to be contagious because my roommate has it and my best friend has it, and I haven't gotten it, so I don't know.
Yeah, I noticed that too, that I seem to have it, and several people that I know had it, but then several people in immediate contact with me every day.
Yeah.
Didn't bother, so
Not at all.
I don't know.
Well,
But anyway,
I'm
it's
sorry to
good
hear
to
that
see you
you had
back
to
on,
spend
man.
13 hours at your slavery there.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. The audio changed a little bit. But anyway, it's just good to see you, man. It made me feel better just to see you and hear you.
Well,
You
thank
have
you.
one of the most interesting shows on Access,
Hey, thanks a lot.
and I'm glad to see you back in action.
Yeah, I'm gonna go and reload and get started on all new projects.
All right. I look forward to it. See you.
All right, see ya. Hello.
Hi, how's it going?
Pretty good.
Cool.
How about you?
Not bad, man, not bad. I was wondering what your thoughts were on how the Mayan prophecies tie into this, and if we have some sort of deadline to start waking people up.
Well, all right. The Mayan prophecies are an interesting thing because really no one is certain why the calendar goes back a billion years but then suddenly stops on 2012. A lot of people have hypothesized on why this would be, and but the Mayans were very knowledgeable of cycles, and they consider this to be the end of history.
You think they were getting that information from like negative channeled entities, or?
I don't know. I couldn't say that. I would say that they were masters at watching galactic cycles, and that they had knowledge that went back billions of years, and that it appears that at this moment we are turning to face the galactic core, and that the new radiation coming from the galactic core is hitting the solar system that we're in and changing the vibration. And so I really do feel like there may be a mutation that occurs due to this new vibration. I believe that this is the cause of global warming on many levels, and also of the solar eruptions that are beyond what all the scientists had predicted they would be. I don't feel that global warming is necessarily the cause of, or caused by humans, but certainly we're not helping. Certainly all the driving that we have to do and the very civilization that we live in is not helping this. But I feel that this is a global or even a solar system cycle that the Mayans were aware of. They certainly had enough knowledge to know these different cycles. They had numerous calendars based on Sirius and Venus, and who knows, really? We don't know. And because we can't really see, but we are left with the idea of this astrological cycle, the 26,000 year cycle, and we are at the completion of that cycle and entering the new one. That's a pretty big deal. And so that's what I feel is going on, and I believe that it could cause a mutation in our DNA, and I feel that possibly these frequency modulators like HARP and other ionospheric heaters around the globe might be used to manipulate our very frequency so that we don't get the ascension, the proper mutation that we deserve.
We should just like open ourselves up to thinking in new ways in the meantime, so we'll be susceptible to it.
Yeah, really, yeah.
Start
For
thinking
me,
of
it's
ourselves.
a lot like hallucinogenics, because if you take of a mushroom or LSD or something of that nature, it's very frightening as your world alters. But then once you're through that threshold, you lose all sense of that fear and you become fully you. And no longer are you acting out of fear once you're through the threshold. So I think that the threshold might be frightening, and certainly one of the things that frightened me as I was talking about the different things that I was looking into that were frightening, one was ego slip or an ego loss. On such things, if you try salvia divinorum, it's possible to go amnesic, and this is a very frightening thing, because once your ego slips, who are you? And I find that, that's something that we're going to have to get through. I think we will be losing this ego and moving more into the superego. And a good way to experience that is to stare at your thumb and try not to have a thought for 10 seconds. And as you do, you're going to find that you can't stop the thoughts from rolling into your brain. But the question is, who is it that's watching you think? Right?
Your higher self.
Yeah, exactly. So if we were to lose our ego, we certainly wouldn't lose ourselves. But it's a very frightening thing to go through. I know.
Yeah, it is.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. Oh, I think I just hung up on somebody.
Hello?
Hello.
How you doing, Freeman?
Hi, pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm going to have to say that I really have enjoyed your show when I've been able to catch it. As with what you were talking earlier, working, and it's just hard to catch a show. But when I do catch it, I feel very enlightened. I don't know why, but I do.
Well, thank you.
I just want to say that I hope your break isn't for too long, because I got you marked down on my calendar every Thursday to try to watch your show. So it's going to be hard to try to find myself when you're gone, man.
Well, if you're online, I do have all of my shows online. Just go to freemantv.com and you can watch all of them.
I definitely will be checking out your spot online,
Nice.
just to try to, I don't know, every time I watch your show, I just feel something different. And so when you're gone, I'm going to have to go to your website to try to find that again, man. I'm going to let you go, but I remember, I don't know if it was like a year ago or what, but you did a show where you were talking about underground civilizations on Earth, like alien tunnels or something.
Mm-hmm.
I was just wondering if you could elaborate on that a little bit for me.
Sure.
And I'm going to let you go, man, so keep on keeping on.
All right. Thank you, man. Definitely, the subterranean caverns are a very interesting thing. Under Central America and South America, von Daniken, who wrote a book called Gold of the Gods, I don't think I brought that one with me today, has a bunch of pictures even. He was one of the few people that they allowed down there. There was a headhunting tribe that actually guards the passageways down into the subterranean worlds. And then it was actually found that there were a massive subterranean complex under the Giza Plateau. And I'm certain that there's a massive subterranean complex under America as well, because of course these things are everywhere. And the thing is that these are not just like hollowed out caves. We're talking about perfectly smooth walls, perfectly square, very, very intricate and very technically advanced. This is where the Incas hid all their gold when they realized that the Spaniards weren't their Jesus or their savior. This is, and then of course I showed Zahi Hawass announcing the subterranean complex under Giza. I wanted to have Stuart Swerdlow on and a couple of others that were gonna, and I will get more shows on, don't worry, to discuss these type of things, because they're very critical at this time, because certainly our military have what they call DUM, which is Deep Underground Military Base. And it's been rumored and even shown that there are gray hives. And by gray, I mean these extraterrestrials, ETs, that are prominently shown on ET shows. That's just one species of ET, by the way, and I don't really feel that they are extraterrestrial. And even Dr. Sala agreed that they are subterrestrial beings. So then the military are building these underground bases and accidentally breaking into subterranean gray hives and having wars with these beings. And there's some very interesting videos on Google about that. Can't think of the guy's name right now. But definitely there's more going on planet Earth than we know. And if you look at stories like the Time Machine, you'll find that, you know, this has been known about, and this has been a part of occultism for a long time. Certainly the inner Earth theory, which is something beyond the subterranean theory. The inner Earth theory also plays a heavy role in this. And I'm just saying, be willing to question these type of things. Be open to research them. Don't just knock them out side of hand and say, oh, no, that just can't be. I mean, my father chased aliens for the government, or flying saucers at least. And he used to tell me, oh, no, that just can't be. I'm like, but wait a minute, you know, you chase flying saucers for a living. So, you know, it's very easy to get locked into your own belief system, or what I prefer to call BS. And there is a lot of BS to go around. And certainly I have my own BS. And sometimes I find that I get a little rigid in my belief system, and I try to branch out and break that. You know, I find myself shaking my head when people are suggesting some new theories, but we got to be able to branch out from our BS. You know, one thing I wanted to, before I take the next call, I wanted to say one of the questions that many of us have had, and what we're calling now the disenfranchised males, is where are the women of our tribe? There are a lot of us that are into these odd, quirky thoughts, but I don't seem to come across a whole lot of women that are interested in this type of mentality, or even, you know, let me just say, I know a lot of single guys, myself being one, and we're not seeing the females of our tribe, and we're really wondering where the girls are. Even the phone calls you'll see are mostly guys. And where are you, girls? You know, write me at blueflyfree@gmail.com, and let's see if we can start to expand this consciousness a little further. We need you girls on track, because, you know, where you go, the guys follow, right? Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey.
Hey, how you doing?
All right. I just wanted to remind you so you didn't forget.
Oh, thanks.
Fag Bashers Unite! Fag Bashers Unite!
It's been a while. You know, I got to give you credit here to say that you're the reason I haven't taken phone calls this whole season. But hey, hello. Are you there? I wasn't talking about you. All right. Hello.
How you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing all right.
Hey, wow, I'm watching you on TV. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I saw your report about chemtrails at my friend's house about 2 or 3 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And I was debating with another friend. He said that the chemtrails contain, like, Byzantium, something that contracts you. But I was pretty sure in your video I saw all kinds of, like, pollutants that could cause harm. Do you have any proof of chemtrails that have caused harm to large populations?
Okay, now that's a very interesting and curious question, because certainly the ingredients are quite dangerous. We're looking at aluminum particles, barium particles. There are polyfibers. Some have even reported viruses put in there, and definitely bacteria. Dimethyl bromide was another one, which is it's a jet fuel and a pesticide, as far as I know. I'm trying to remember where that one. So, but is it a plan to kill off humanity? It doesn't appear to be, right? Because certainly no, there haven't been large populations dropping dead due to chemtrails. Now, some of the weaker old people and children and people with respiratory problems have been dropping dead. There's no doubt about that. There's been a lot of that.
Or like maybe over long term it can weaken your immune system. That's kind of what I got from watching. Maybe I just jumped to a conclusion.
Yeah, well, I think, well, for one thing, it is more than just directed at humans. It is there for weather modification and also tracking weather patterns so that they can you see what their tools are doing. But then, of course, the military never have just one idea. Everything is in at least triplicate. So the extra added side benefits are that when we breathe in the aluminum, it makes us a good receptor for our radio frequency technologies. And when we breathe in the barium, which is causing the upper respiratory infection and the flu-like symptoms, that makes us show up on X radar. And one of the stories that kind of slipped past most people was that there was a giant X radar placed upon an oil rig and sent from here, from Texas, and was going all the way down around the south tip of South America and going to be placed up in Alaska near the HARP facility. And this is what's called an X radar. And that's the specific radar that is able to detect this barium. And it was interesting because as soon as that thing left out on the oil rig, and I'm talking about one of those big, oil drilling machines, it went out. Katrina hit, right, as soon as it was starting to head south. And that was, I was wondering what happened to the X radar with that, but I figured they probably steered it away from it.
One more question.
Sure.
Have you heard of a cloud buster that can dissimulate aerials?
Yes, I have. It's the Croft Chembuster, and you can build one fairly easily, but I hear they are dangerous once they get charged. You don't want to go touching it after it's up and running and charged. At least that's the word I got. I personally don't have a Chembuster. And one of the other things that warning with the Chembusters is what it does is dissipates the moisture in the air, and so one problem might occur where if you have a Chembuster in your yard or a cloud buster, it might make everything that's up there fall straight down into your yard. These are just warnings, but absolutely I've got friends that swear by them. I've seen pictures that they have taken. These are people I know that use these to dissipate the, and certainly Wilhelm Reich was a genius, and he was absolutely suppressed. So.
Well, that's awesome. It's nice seeing you on TV, and keep up the good work. I saw about 3 weeks ago when you had Tex Mars on the show.
Yes.
That was a real good show.
I had a great time with Tex.
I got his book from like 1988. It's called The Mark, something about the mark of the beast. It's pretty interesting. Right. He's pretty young. But, hey, man, have a great day, man. Take it easy. Love your show.
Yeah, Tex is one of my favorite people. He is so nice and so kind. I really don't have anything I could say more about him except for that he's just a wonderful guy. Hello? You there?
Hello.
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 Hey. All right. Well, let's just keep going. How you doing?
Hello?
Hello?
Yes, I'm calling. It's my first time call. What is the dissipation theory of the cloud?
All right, let me think about that one.
Sir, I'm here.
Oh, yeah?
Sir, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Okay. Recently, back in 1991, I was over at the Berlin Wall, and I brought back 13 kilos of the Berlin Wall, actually, like actual rock, and we had witnesses. And it was a beautiful thing, because what happened was, now I want to try to sell that. I want to sell it here. Where can I authenticate pure stone from Germany?
That's not really my cup of tea, my friend.
All right, what are we talking about here? Aliens, right? I mean, the last time I watched your show, you didn't have your mustache. I mean, it was trimmed up. But, I mean, sometimes I would look to myself. Okay, I want to see, if we have 10 billion galaxies out there, okay, and we sit down where we pick out, look, we got one planet and one galaxy, then, geez, I mean, there's got to be like 14 billion different human species.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that in my world. Unfortunately, they haven't made themselves prominently known. Thank you for the call. these until they land on the White House lawn, it's going to continue to be debated. I personally have seen a giant flying rectangle and lost 5 hours, and I'm hoping to do some regressive therapy and find out what happened. Because I want to see aliens, I want to see what happened and how, I have no idea. All I know is that I lost 5 hours after witnessing this giant flying rectangle. It was an amazing event in my life, and it's one that is going to continue to have me chasing knowledge. There again, I'm sorry guys, I'm going to stop the calls there. We've only got 10 minutes left, and I wanted to talk a little more. Yeah, I like my headdress. Because really we live on such strange times and on such a strange planet. It really does seem to be quite backwater and yet technologically advanced. Obviously our technology is surpassing our spirituality, and we better catch up fast because things like cloning and stem research, can't speak, and all of these things that are going on around us are really going to bring about some massive questions on what to do on planet Earth, and I really think we are in for frightening times. And so I only want to add to that. I don't want to add to the frightening. I want to add that we need to start looking to ourselves, looking to our friends, looking into our hearts, seeking the love within so that we can share it without, because really that's the only answer. It was certainly found that humans aren't killers. We really aren't. We've got to be given noble reasons to kill, and that's why we're given this idea of patriotism. That's why they had to blow up the Twin Towers to bring about a police state, because humans just aren't naturally that violent. We really aren't. It was found that people in World War I didn't really want to shoot people, but of course video games came along to help make it a little easier for people to cope with shooting people. It changed the mentality of what we do and how we do it. So really, if we want to break free, we're going to have to start recognizing the matrix. And that's really what my show is designed to do, is to bring about a new concept of the matrix that we exist in. That's why I did corporate logos, so that you could see that it's a unified system of power, and that we are actually caught up in that we I don't have a whole lot of hope for people to break free. I know there are a lot of people that are, but most people are too frightened to quit their jobs, and certainly it is a frightening thing to not know where your next meal is going to come from. And we have become a group of rugged individualists, and so there's not a whole lot of community going on these days. In my childhood, we had block parties, and everybody knew everybody, and we would gather to eat. And that really should be the new motto, is "In dinner we trust." Because we are going to move into this world where Monsanto is taking over all of our crops. And I mean, really, guys, it's not human nature to do these things, and so you better start asking who is doing those things. Because George Bush is not human by my standards of human reckoning. I think, do we still have somebody on the line there? Okay, well, here we are in the last show. Still didn't get any girls to call. Where are the female of our tribe? Are we just way too wacky for you girls? Is the motto or the phrase, the catchphrase that girls just want to have fun, too much of a reality? what is it? Why is it that it is mostly males that are into this type of thought? And I'd really like to understand that. I'm going to continue to pose that question. Where are the girls of our tribe? I know you're out there, and I know that you want to find other people that you can discuss these thoughts with. And so, get in touch, get in contact. We're always meeting, and we're always having good times. And, this is not something that needs to be a frightful experience. And the more of us that gather together in understanding, the better it'll go. I hope that you all can find your place in this and recognize your higher self. Recognize that you are a free being and that this matrix of control that we exist in is total illusion, and that it could be so simply turned around. But we are caught in this mindset. We believe, when I hear Christian patriots standing up for America, I know you've been told this was a Christian nation, but it wasn't a Christian nation. This is a Freemason nation. But we didn't know that before, really. But all the clues are there, and once you start to discover this, then you realize that nationality itself is a bit of a matrix itself. It is a way to separate the people and keep them fighting amongst each other. And even in ancient Greece, they would talk about how the humans used to be one form or one people, and the gods, the titans, came and separated us so that we would spend all of our time fighting one another and searching for love, and we would leave them be to rule and control the things that go on planet Earth. This story is not new. It's been around forever. I'm continually astounded as I propose different hypotheses, and then I continually find different doctors, researchers, and scholars that back me up. So it is a valid question. It's worth asking, and it's the one thing that will break you free is to recognize the matrix for what it is, and recognize that this is not the outcome of human endeavor, that humans are creative spirits, and we are good-natured. We are generous, loving creatures, and if you recognize that you don't need any sort of formal religion in order to be good, there is no explanation for why a child loves a puppy, except for that the universe is love, and the universe is a wonderful place to be. So, until I see you all the next time, have a good night and a good life, and in dinner we'll trust.